welcome to the first part of my September wrap-up. I'm saying first part because I am filming part of the wrap-up now so that I can show you the books, because I won't be taking these books to university with me, and then I'll be filming the second part of the wrap-up at university. It is currently the 24th of September, but I have to film this video now. It's my last chance before I go away. The first book I finished in September was Prisoner of Night and Fog by Anne Blankman. I was halfway through this, I think, at the end of August, so this was the first book I finished in September. I've done a review on this, which I will link here right now, but I gave it 5 stars and I seriously enjoyed it. This is about Hitler's fictional niece, set in just before Nazi Germany. It's fun, fast-paced, mystery and action and romance and just everything really. I think this book was brilliant. So the second book I read was Jacob's Room by Virginia Woolf. This was one which was sent to me on a reading list of books to start with for my English literature course. I'd enjoyed this one, but I felt like I could not give this a rating, so I gave it no rating on Goodreads. Virginia Woolf's first truly experimental novel. It's a portrait of a young man, tracking him through his life and showing the values that led the Edwardian society towards war. Jacob is viewed only through the eyes of other characters, which is a very fascinating way of doing it, but I found that that left me not having as much of a connection to Jacob as I had wanted. I couldn't begin to understand who Jacob was or find connections with any of the other characters either. But still, I think that for the writing style and to show her commentary on social values, this is an important one to read, and it's definitely got me interested in reading other Virginia Woolf in the future. After I read Jacob's Room, I went straight into Gargantua by Francois Rabelais. It's a hard one to pronounce. This book was written in the 1500s and it is for the World Literature course. It is about giants. Again, it is about Gargantua's life from when he was born and how of him growing up, much like Jacob's Room was, although they are so completely different and opposite ends of the scale I shouldn't even put them in the same sentence. This book is hilarious and ridiculous and so rude, and you know what, it really seems obsessed with fecal matter for some reason. Shocking amount of references to poo and genitals, and indeed it was banned at the time. Oh, so that's quite good because it's a whole banned books week. I'm pretty sure Virginia Woolf would just be outraged by what is in here, but I loved it. Also, the more you look at this cover, the more you love it, right? I just think this donkey is hilarious. And at first I picked it up and I was like, but now I just adore this cover. I do. Look at the donkey. And then I needed something more fun and escapism because I was feeling pretty down around that time. So I downloaded Dreams of Gods and Monsters by Laini Taylor onto my Kindle. Now, bear in mind this is supposed to be like an over 600 page book in my hand, right? This was perfect for helping distract me. The words are such a treat. They just soothe into you straight away, and I just kind of feel like I'm home when I pick up the next one in this series. And I'm glad I finally picked this up because I've been meaning to read it because I just adore this series. If you didn't know, this is the third in the trilogy of the Daughter of Smoke and Bone series, and that series is actually amazing. The characters and the words are wonderful, and because this was the third in the trilogy I could just fall straight into it and love the characters straight away, and it seriously cheered me up and helped me just distract me. There's still more character building and even more world development. Laini Taylor never fails to shock me. I don't even see some of her twists coming and I'm like, oh, and you think that like when you read Daughter of Smoke and Bone, it's, you know, it was good, and then suddenly the ending it's like, and then in the second one it's like, and then at the end of the second one it's like, oh, mind blown, and then halfway through this one it's like, mind blown again. How much bigger can this all get? It makes me feel better, and Akiva certainly cheers you up. Also, there's something that makes you want to read the whole thing in one go and not take any breaks. She's just got this writing where you're like, oh, one more chapter, and you don't even like need breaks between it like you do in other books, because I don't know what it is. Does anyone else get that? Her chapters are just so perfectly formed that you can read them all one after the other and just never stop. And one last thing, this book I felt like this book could have been rushed with the way the second one ended, but it wasn't rushed at all. It was perfectly perfect. Can you just tell that I love this? Can you just tell that I'm just adored this? Yes, 5 stars. 5 stars all the way. 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5 stars. So after I finished Dreams of Gods and Monsters, I wondered what I was even going to do with my life anymore, so I decided I couldn't just fall back into another big story straight away, so I picked up a short story collection, The Last Dance and Other Stories by Victoria Hislop. I gave this 4 stars, and if you click right now, you can go to the review I did that will tell you more about it. They're Greek short stories. They're Greek short stories. Okay. Now I'm going to get back to reading Traitors Moon, which I've almost finished, and hopefully when I hand you over to future Victoria, she'll have finished this book and she'll be talking about it. Take it away, future Victoria! Thank you, Victoria. I am quickly just putting this in because I finished this before I went. This is Traitors Moon by Lynn Llewellyn. As I said, I finished it. It was really, really good, 5 stars. It had everything the Night Runner series has in it holds dear, and I was kind of really sad to finish it, like I always am, because it just feels like going home when you pick up one of these books. When you go back to Seragul and Alec, they're just wonderful, wonderful characters, and this one had a lot more development of Seragul in it, because the other two have maybe slightly focused on Alec a little bit more. This was Seragul because it was looking into something that happened in his past a little bit more, but what is great about this book is it started and finished and it wrapped up all in one. So although it is a series, and I think it is a 6-book series, but it could be more, you don't have to commit to a really long series. It's fun and there's politics, and it is book 3, but you don't have to read the other 2 to read this one, although I'd highly recommend that you did, because the other 2 were brilliant, and if you read this one before the other 2, then the other 2 will be spoilt for you, so I seriously recommend reading the whole series. But this is a book that you can just read on its own. So I love that way that your questions are answered. It's just a fun series that you pick up every so often, and there's no long-term commitment. So I adored Traitors Moon, cannot rate it highly enough. Maybe I liked the first 2 a tiny bit more, only because I prefer Scala to Orinen. Orinen is lovely and it's great world building, amazing world building, but I don't know, I just prefer it when they're in the city and that has all the life. Anyway, really, really good. Can't wait to get the next one. Yeah. Now I'm gonna send you off to future Victoria.